Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome, my name is Anneke. Today's quest is preserving apples. And there are various ways you can preserve apples. Today's episode concentrates on drying apples. Now, drying apples, honestly, there's it's very simple. I think I mentioned it in the film as well. I found a tin with dried apples, which I had dried about 20 years ago, something like that, and they're still going strong and I still dare to eat them. It was done very simply by, peeling the apples, coring the apples, and then not put them in quarters but put in eighths and treat those as if they were beads. So I had a long piece of string, put them on the string, space them out a bit so the air can go around it, and that's all there's to it. Leave it in a dry, relatively warm place, preferably with a little bit of airflow. That would be nice. And it will dry. It will take a while, but it will dry. This time around, I don't have that kind of space in this house, but I do have a dehydrator. So I peel them, slice them, and put them in the dehydrator. And this time I was really drawn to make it crisp, see how dry I could get it, and wait out and see. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe and share, and without further ado, see if I manage this quest. Thank you for watching. Bye. This is my setup. You prick the apple on and you start winding. So we'll see. I'll see if I can make a video. I've got this set up, but it only works with very round and straight apples. By straight I mean that this end perfectly lines up with that end in the middle of the apple and doesn't go sideways. I've had lots of sideways apples already. It's difficult to see, I'm sure, on camera, but the core is to the side and it makes it difficult to work on this machine. Also, with smaller apples, the spikes, it's more difficult to get it on. And once it's on, it takes away a lot of the apple, a lot of the core. As you can see, this is quite substantial for an apple this size, and that's not even the smallest. I mean, I've got smaller apples still. So it's better to do the small apples by hand. If you can find bigger apples, that would be so much more cost effective, because this is a lot of apple. Now, there are people who make the peels into apple cider vinegar, which in itself is a nice idea, but again, those apples, quite a lot of them have got blemishes on it, and I don't want to create anything from that. So yeah, that's it. So a lot of the apples I do by hand and create far less waste. And the morning after the day before. It is still leathery. I don't think this will get crispy. Whenever I've dried apples before, They always stayed leathery. Although this is close. This is really close. I will give them more time, because someone once said you can't overhydrate. It's just not possible. So I am going to continue, see what happens. I will show you some very, very, very old dried apples. Hang on. And this is a tin with very, very, very old dried apples in it. And this is, you can still see how they kind of go together. So they've been strung to a piece of wire. And they are very, very leathery, squidgy. Still good to eat, but they've been dried about 20 years ago. I remember drying them over my range, and yeah, got put in a tin, and I forgot about them, and we've been moving house again and again and again, and then a couple more times. So yeah, I forgot all about them, and then a couple of weeks ago I came across them. So this is, and those are cut in wedges, and that's why I wanted to cut the apples the way I did them this time, because it's even slices, whilst the wedges, of course, are thicker on one end than the other. But yeah, this is about 20-year-old dried apples, and still going strong. And it has been drying for another round. Listen. It's dry. It's dry. I wasn't sure we were going to reach this stage, but here we are. Yes. And I've just tried a piece before picking up the camera. And yeah, it's quite amazing to have apple being this dry. And yeah, sorry, I find it difficult to express my excitement, yet you might not be, you might be going like, what's the excitement about? But the other ones are so leathery. So I kind of assumed that I wouldn't be able to dry the slices to the level of crisp. But here we are. I managed it. It took a long time. I should have written it down. So I do remember, I did one round on 55 degrees Celsius for, I have to look back at it, but I think it was 8 hours. And then I did another round on 60 degrees, and it wasn't quite there, but I tested one and one was crispy. So I did another round of 60 for 3 hours. And this is it. So, happy days for me. I'm going to bottle this up. And yeah, it's ready to be eaten. And it tastes really nice. There you go.